You know that feeling when you're on the absolute edge of your seat during a movie, heart pounding, and you just wonder, how did they do that? Well, those moments of pure, uncut suspense, they aren't magic. Nope, they are meticulously engineered. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that very engineering. We're going to dive into a fictional thriller. We're calling it The Midnight Protocol, and we're going to deconstruct the blueprint for how these movies manufacture that incredible suspense.
Everything, and I mean everything, starts with a single, powerful idea. Just look at this sentence. This isn't just a line of dialogue. It's the entire engine for the opening scene. In one go, it establishes three crucial things. You've got a clear hero, you've got absolutely impossible stakes, and you have an unforgiving, ticking clock. This is the hook. This is what grabs you and just refuses to let go.
All right, let's start right at the beginning. The first job of any great thriller is to get your anxiety spiking immediately. In what's called the cold opening, the whole point is to plunge you, the audience, directly into the conflict. And we're about to see how story, visuals, and sound are the three key ingredients they use to light that fire. So the objective here is crystal clear. Every single creative choice is laser focused on one thing, making you, the viewer, feel that same crushing pressure as our hero, Jax. It's not about just watching him be stressed out, it's about making you feel that stress right there in your gut, right alongside him. And here is where you see how all these pieces just harmonize to create pressure. The story gives us the ticking clock, right? The visuals then reinforce that with these super tight close-ups. You see the sweat on his brow, the frantic typing. But it's the audio, man. The audio is what makes it visceral. That tense electronic pulse, the sound of the clock ticking way too fast, that low hum underneath it all. It's basically a sound recipe for anxiety. It puts our nervous system on high alert. So when all three of these elements are telling the exact same stressful story, our brains really have no choice but to believe it. So that quiet tension, it can't last forever. Eventually, you have to raise the stakes. So next, we're going to see how the story builds from that quiet, psychological suspense into a full-blown, chaotic action sequence. This is where the whole thing just explodes outwards. Okay, so the objective here totally shifts, and it's on purpose. We're moving from the internal, mental battle of a hacker in one little room to the external, physical chaos of a fight and a chase. All that pressure that was building up inside, it's about to be unleashed all over the city. The second that door gets kicked in, notice how the whole technique changes. The camera becomes unstable. That shaky cam style is designed to make you feel disoriented, like you are right there in the middle of the fight. And the audio, it flips from that subtle pulse to this aggressive industrial rock music. It is sensory overload by design. It's a technique that just short-circuits the analytical part of our brain and throws us straight into a fight or flight response. But here's the thing. This chaos isn't random. It has a really clear logical flow. First, the breach forces the fight. The fight then makes the escape necessary, which immediately kicks off the pursuit. See? Each step is a direct result of the one before it, and that's what drives the story forward at this relentless, breathless pace. So after the claustrophobia of that tiny room, we burst out onto the rooftops, and everything just gets bigger. The visuals shift from that tight, shaky cam to these epic, wide drone shots of the whole city. The audio drops the industrial rock and brings in these soaring, high-speed orchestral strings and the deafening whir of a helicopter. We've literally gone from a personal, contained conflict to this massive, blockbuster spectacle. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most powerful tool in a storyteller's arsenal, the twist. A great ending doesn't just wrap up the action, it completely reframes everything you've just seen. It shocks you into a whole new understanding of the story. Right, so the goal here isn't just to surprise you, it's to make you completely rethink the entire story. A great twist makes you want to hit rewind and watch the whole thing again through this new lens. It doesn't just change the ending, it changes the entire meaning of everything that came before it. And this is the moment. The whole time we assumed Jax was this selfless hero, trying to save the world. But this one little reveal, that the flash drive actually holds his own missing memories, it changes everything. All of a sudden, his motivation isn't selfless, it's deeply personal. He wasn't saving the world, he was trying to save himself. The way they pull this off is just a masterclass in how to land a twist. As Jack smirks and then just leaps, the audio makes this incredibly bold choice. It cuts to complete and total silence. That sudden lack of sound is so jarring, it forces you to hold your breath, which just amplifies the shock of him jumping. And then
that deep, vibrating bram sound hits, and it just cements that revelation in your mind.
So what does all this add up to? Well, these creative choices, they're not random at all. They're part of a deliberate toolkit, a repeatable formula that storytellers use to craft suspense and guide our emotions with absolute precision.
So here it is, the formula. You start with a ticking clock to create that urgency. You keep escalating the stakes to build momentum. You use sensory overload to completely immerse your audience. You pull the rug out from under them with a powerful narrative twist. But the most important rule of all is that last one, making sure your story, your visuals, and your audio are always working in perfect harmony.
Look, this isn't just a formula for some made-up movie. It's a blueprint for powerful communication. It's a set of tools for grabbing attention, building tension, and delivering a message that's absolutely unforgettable. So the real question isn't just about movies. Now that you have the blueprint, what story will you build?